Thank you very much for staying tuned to this one-on-one platform where we discuss national, regional, sub-regional, and local issues at hand in Uganda and beyond. We take a look at how Uganda is moving on, most of it in this time as campaigns are going on ahead of the general elections in 2026. My name is Min Owen Koswabli, and please kindly always try yourself to be sharing the link, subscribing and liking, and also be sending us your comments about the topic of the day. We shall be looking at how campaigns are going on, the promises being made by the presidential candidates and possibly even the MPs to the electorate. I'm joined by Otim Okonopesa. This time round still we shall be adding up to what we discussed last time. When I was with him, we discussed the likely determinants of those to be voted for in the next elections, more so in the Teso sub-region. This time around, we shall expand the topic to what's prevailing during the campaigns and see how the first month was and what's taking on the second month of the campaigns. Our team, you are most welcome.
Thank you.
With the viewers.
Thank you very much. Good evening to the viewers. More than delighted to be here on one-on-one talk show with Owen. It's very good to always share and expound on issues of importance to our country, and then what should possibly pose towards development for the next agenda as we attain the Vision 2040. Thank you very much, my brother.
Yeah, Tim, to stay at I wanted to give us your look at how campaigns are moving on. I'm also of the presidential candidates.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Also in this, we have started the second month of the campaigns.
Yes, so far the process, or rather the progress of our election is, I can, if I'm to put it in percentages, I always say possibly is at 60-40%, in that the coverage is really not up to par with what we had expected, because if you're to look at looking at NRM mapping, you would see that they have covered up to currently where they are in Palisa, that is Bukedi sub-region. Yeah. It also indicates that it should be the first phase of how NRM handles its campaign. It always has 2 or 3 phases. The first one is the president himself embarks on a long tour, and he always prefers beginning from one corner of the other, area to this extreme end, and then he moves in a correspondency kind of pattern. And you have seen that he started from the areas of Luero, went straight to the areas of West Nile, pushed back to the farther north, to Karamoja, to Teso. He finished Bugisu. Now he's talking, we are looking at Bukedi. So Bukedi, I think yesterday is when he was in Kapchora. And then today, the other day was, yesterday was in Kapchora, the other day was in Mbale. So you find the patterns are okay. So when you to look at other parties, the other party that most likely has a big following and has a lot of viewership should be the People Power. That's Snoop. No. And they're also seeing that leading opposition party. Leading opposition party. And they're also seeing that they also started their movements from Busoga. They also proceeded and I think went up to north, and then went up to Karamoja region. Now they're in western Uganda. And to the other candidates, Munyagwa, the common man's party, then the other likely ones, I have really not seen much impact, but maybe to look at Mugisha Muntu is resorted to doing door-to-door, which is also a very good, method of campaign.
Is that applicable for a presidential candidate?
Yeah, for a presidential candidate, you see.
Wouldn't it be better for local council?
You see, when you're handling presidential campaigns, ours is more of diverse now.
Yeah.
But if you're to look at developed countries like the US, the UK, probably we'll be seeing these presidential candidates have almost between 10 to 15 rallies all over the country. And most of those rallies, they would always use them as fundraisers. And that is how you're able to influence, or rather that's how they're able to see the type of influence you have within the communities. So when you are to do the comparison, we have also not reached the point where the presidents themselves are going to be on one platform and then able to be...
Why isn't that being talked about this time around?
I don't know, but you see, it is initially iPod that has been at the forefront of trying to look at that kind of criteria. And the fact that there have been also a little bit of conflicts, and then some political parties had a boycott and so on, and then I think after a certain period they want to join back iPod. So it has also had its own ups and downs. And you can see from the other time when they organized the presidential debate here at, I think it was at Serena also, yeah. It came out well, because you see, people want to know the type of leader that is going to come. And what does he know about current affairs? What does he know about the policy, structures? What does he know about the political trends of different, diversities of this country?
Talking about issues of finances, you hit at it. You find that in other countries, the public fundraises for the presidential candidates and other candidates. Why is it the reverse here, that fundraisings are rarely come up with the positive results, that maybe the public is fundraising for so and so, and you feel that the candidate has solicited enough, some good money to help him to move on with the campaigns? You
see, one thing that I've observed...
Have we made our people to get used that it's the candidates to give to the masses?
You see, one thing that I've had as a challenge is that during the time of policy, rather referendums that were being created, we did not have that area or that part where electoral commission, that is the governing, or rather that's the body that is authorized, body. Yes, supervisory body. We did not have electoral commission come out clearly to sensitize some of the stakeholders on the kind of how we should be able to handle our politics. The current government has been in power for quite a number of years, and you also tell that there have been patterns where people were not so much relying on the finances from individual politicians. Yeah. To currently whereby an individual, if you're contesting for a position, you should have a minimum of 500 million. So it is so alarming, because majority of the MPs are involved in a lot of debt, because you have to borrow, and then you have to attach some of your personal property into getting money that you are going to use as facilitation to push an agenda that is towards the development of the common man. So it's making politics more of not only a risky game, but it's making politics quite expensive to any individual that really wants to venture into it as a career. And
naturally, it makes it some of the people left out because of limited resources, that they can't get involved in active politics.
Yes, that is also there. And to me, as an individual, possibly my suggestion would be that government should see how to restructure this kind of method, because you see, even just vying for party internal politics in some of these political, like for example, NRM, we had individuals use up to 3 billion.
But is that trend reversible?
The trend can be, because you see, it is upon government to restructure some of these things. And these are laws that can be created. Any law that is created can always be absorbed by a common person. And of course, you see, anyone that doesn't abide by the law can always be disqualified from venturing into it. Because you see, in one way or another, we have to protect the country. At this moment is the time that security is very alert on fraud, rather money laundering and so on. Because some of these people use exorbitant, volumes of money to run some of this campaign, trails. So to to us as government, to government now, government has to see how to restructure some of this and decommercialize politics. Let politics be on a neutral level.
But you're talking about government. Government means people. And they are the very people who have the money, who have gone into politics, many of whom are the very ones who are in government. So how do you expect them to restructure the system?
You see, it begins with one thing. It begins just with an idea. That if this is happening, it is for our own good. Because let me be honest with you, if this is not settled, in the next 5-10 years ahead, it will be very difficult for a common person to venture even for a seat of LOC1 if you don't have money.
True.
Now, why would if an individual...
I say it's compromising the quality of representatives.
Yeah, it's compromising the quality of representatives that are coming on board. Because most of the people that come here really don't advocate for what the common person, they don't advocate for the common person's interest. But I'm recovering how much money I've injected into this. If I injected the 1 billion, how am I going to recover that money? So you find that possibly there are members of parliament that are going to come here, and then for the next 3 years or 4 years, he's not going to even focus on what has brought him here. If you were to observe, most of the political parties that are campaigning, what are their themes? NRM has protecting the games. NUP,
New Uganda.
New Uganda. PFF, I have not had any. But PFF says that for us, our backing.
PFF, they don't have a candidate.
Yeah, they don't have a candidate. But the PPF say that for us, we are going to back up who? Chagulai. Then we also have the Democratic Front saying that we are backing up Munyagwa, the common man's party. So Jimmy, UPC also has, I think, because you saw that exchange between the principal of UPC and then the presidential candidate for NUP, when he went to pay respect towards his late dad, you could see that they are trying to bond. But it can be a very tricky thing for also NRM as a party, because UPC has strong grounds in northern Uganda.
But Otim, are you clearly convinced that the public is consuming the message the candidates are giving out, also at the level of our presidency?
The problem is...
manifestos are still appealing to the public.
The problem is possibly having the type of method we're using for campaigns. Because a majority of the people probably would be going to these rallies for their own sinister, motives. One group might say that for us we are going because we also want to pick up something. Another group is saying that we want to pick up something in form of resource, money.
A token.
Another group is saying that we want to go there because we have heard that Eddie Kenzo, or rather, these top artists are there, chameleons. I mean, the chameleon and the group. And then there's, of course, that group that wants to pick the message of the president. So we also had intelligence briefs coming in, and we have picked 1 or 2 where they're saying that in some venues where the president has had rallies, you find people go to attend the rallies. By the time the president is approaching, he's addressing half of the stadium, half of the...
when those who wanted the music and what have left.
Yes, because for them, they're interested in possibly things that possibly are pleasing them. And that, I feel, is something that I think the president should be aware by now, and he should be able to see how to recalculate that whatever part.
Are you trying to relate it to an allegation that some people are just afraid to the sides?
No, you see, like I told you, everybody has their own motives, and if the president is not dealing with the right people, of course, the numbers will always lie him.
Because I can't imagine, let me say, a pitch being filled with people when musicians are there. When the presidential candidates arrive, then the people leave and leave the candidate with just a half or quarter of the population.
Yes, it is possible, because you see, for us who remain at the backyard, ours is to observe
what's going on,
and then what is going on, and then be able to to also
to document,
document and then also engage our observers, because we also have people that observe the kind of behavior, what people feel, the reaction of the people. We have them there. As the rally is going on, we have people on ground whose work is to engage the people. What is happening? How do you see this? So you blend within the people. Yeah, we have them. We have the team. It is still camped in Soroti, I think, until the president moves this way, and then they possibly before the end of this month, there should be full, scale operations on trying to find out lasting solutions. Our focus now, as people should, our focus now as a task force should be wherever the president has passed, there should be a backup or follow-up team to try and get to understand what the people feel. Then what solution should be rather generated to address these people. That is how it should be done. But the fact
team,
that...
what of the advanced team?
The advanced team definitely is to find, and you see most of them always go. Like if the president is going tomorrow to, let's say, is going to Namutumba tomorrow. And the advanced team is always sent, first of all, to interact with the security apparatus of the district, and also to engage the district leadership of the party, and also to engage even the religious leaders, pick up information and then compile it, and then before the president even embarks and comes, it is given to him in plain paper. So the president is aware about certain things that possibly have not been touched by government, and then what he needs to speak, what he needs to avoid. So you have seen that in most cases, that advanced team is always to give him this information. As it comes to address, when he leaves there, there's another team that's going to remain behind to map out and then discover what people feel about the president's message. Now, the team, that team is called the backup team. That is now the one that gives intelligence briefs to the president. That you see, Your Excellency, we had a rally in Mbale City, but I think after you left, we had the interaction with so and so and so, and we are equating it in this percentage plus this plus this. This is what we need to do.
We realized that the students had been given T-shirts to come for the rally.
That is also very possible, because there is a video clip that is already showing that they're given yellow T-shirts, and then they are all chanting about the other opposition leader. So that is there. But it is just something I'm trying to tell you, that as the NRM candidate, or rather the president, is moving, there's always a team that always collects information, gives him, and then that information is subdivided. Some is handled by security, the other is handled by the mobilization team from within the district, and then there are units that are created to also be able to project and then handle some of these affairs. Now, when you look at the other political parties,
what's your say about what's your say about those opposing Museveni as of now, as part of this race?
We still have a challenge, because you see, I always don't underestimate an enemy, and not an enemy in form of, but an enemy in common ideology. And when you have to look at Noop, those are common enemies. But what is his agenda as a person? We have interacted with, I've also had the time to interact with a few, and you hear them saying that we want regime change. Yeah. Ours is purely regime change. We're tired of this regime, and we believe that if there's another breed of leaders, then possibly we're going to generate ideas that will not only protect whatever that is there, but also uplift the country. But of course, you see, anyone can speak about that. And that's why I'm saying that we're leaving it open. And for us, as people that observe and then give guidance where need be, the best is just that it's an open ground for very many people to be able to channel. But you need to observe keenly.
But still, the opposition,
if you have to observe keenly opposition,
the opposition also sees loopholes in like the NRM slogan for this time round, protecting the gains. They feel it's just for a few. The slogan appeals to a few of the people in Uganda.
Yes, that is. I can't justify that as an individual, But of course, you see, anything that the government has put its hands on is always something that is it's regarded or driven towards the country's, image. And if you see the government trying to put up factories, you see the government trying to come up with an initiative, possibly initiatives like PDM, like Myoga, those are all intellectual properties of government. So when they say they're protecting it again, possibly that is where they are projecting, that's where they are projecting their, their agenda or their drive. So for me, I think also to tap into the opposition influence. If you're to compare the numbers of 2021 and 2025-26, you realize that the picture of NUP is one that embodies the young generation. The picture of the youth bracket of 38 below believe so much in having a change. And of course, you see, for the fact that they could even be exhausted.
Their suffering
is
due to the regime.
Yes, so of course, you see, for the fact that they are also
that their living is due to what the services they provided.
Yes, they're also underlining factors that could be leading to that. One of them is the fact that we have a new generation of leaders and then young people that have never experienced change in leadership or transition of government. And to them, they're saying that, you see, we are people that are schooled, we're people that are learned, but there's a high level, high rates of unemployment in this country. And for us, we believe that possibly if there's another change of government, then that can happen.
Do you find sense in that?
Of course, you see, anyone can come up with the ideas and sell them for the sake of giving hope to people. And by the way, with politics, the words that you say,
it's all about how you package your message.
The words that you package, or rather your package towards the public, is what determines the type of
support
that you get. And you have to see that the agenda of NUP is that we're the young people, and our focus should be on transition, that we, the young people, should be given the opportunity to lead this country. Of course, that is something that you cannot.
Do you think the regime is in line or is really still on track of addressing the issues that the youths are raising?
Me, I believe that we don't have to look at the length of leadership possibly for you to be able to determine the kind of development that we're getting. Because you see, a country that has been torn by war, a country that has been under a lot of political conflicts, and then we have been able to stabilize as a country for it to move forward. Of course, you see,
but we have we have that big population that seems not to be still interested anymore of listening, taking up that kind of history about the background of this country.
That also
much as it may be right, but they feel it's like they are being put into scare.
For me, I believe that there are just a few issues that are rather, tainting a bad, or rather that are making the image of, that have tainted the image of NRM as a party. And one of them is failure to work on the issue of corruption, not to eradicate corruption. And the fact that we have a recycled pattern of leaders also is a very big challenge. My main concern, or rather my main advocacy, has always been on orienting young people to take up leadership roles. And of course, you see, NRM has that tendency, but it is at a slow pace. Rather, the pace is slow in how the young people are being perceived to take up leadership within the NRM government. And if you're to look at the political parties, they are fronting young people because they know that it has reached a point where there should be another generation that should come in, and they believe that is how the country should run. We don't want a scenario, possibly also don't want a scenario to look like that of Cameroon, where you have a head of state possibly staying in a European country and then he only gives orders or gives instructions through the phone call or on virtual calls. So that is something that people possibly also, and all those are assessments that when you interact with people, that is the information you pick.
Okay, and now, Tim, some people assume that members of NRM have not done enough to engage the public on which services the government has provided. Some assume that by this time, Mr. Museveni wouldn't be making a district-to-district campaign, but it would be like a sub-regional or regional campaign to be done. If the MPs, the local government representatives had done enough to explain government programs to the people, to always be engaging the public, than waiting for Mr. Museveni to always outline what he has done, what the government has done for a certain district, what he intends, okay, maybe what he intends to do is another thing. But what has been done, how can the public wait for 5 years to get an explanation of what has been done for them?
You see, that I would rather bring it in a much simpler manner. You see, the president, being head of state, has always delegated people to handle some of these positions. For the fact that there's also some level of arrogance amongst our leaders, you find that instead of following something that is on the right course, they now tend to rather bring in some level of arrogance in how they handle patterns, or rather some, personalizing issues. Then there's also greed.
Among leaders?
Among leaders. You find one leader wants to have like 4 positions. Now, if you are one leader, you want to have 4 positions, and the president has given you mandate to handle a very senior, position. Why would you even want the other positions? That has happened. It's not the first thing, but it is something that has come from, the past times. We also see a scenario where we have leaders that also want. They want to cling on to something. And then when they see that this thing has a common, they have a common interest in this particular, program, then you would want to handle it and not even delegate. We've also seen that in small positions at district level. You have an RDC that wants to handle all programs and will not delegate to his deputy to handle anything. You have a LOC 5 that is at loggerheads with the cow. You have the minister, cabinet minister, that is at loggerheads with the permanent secretary, that is at loggerheads with the minister of state.
They don't. All that stalls work.
Yes, like you can see, there was a scenario that Minister of ICT some years back. The state minister of ICT with the cabinet minister would not meet in one, in one room. It's like they would not boil in one saucepan. So it is a very big challenge that the head of state has always had to fight. And then we also have sub-regional cliques. West Nile has one person they worship. What that person mentions is
the
what
kingmakers.
The kingmakers. We have in northern Uganda, possibly Lango region and so on, where one person is fighting with another person for a particular position. And there is a vacant position somewhere where they have been. We also have possibly in eastern Uganda here, Busoga, where there's been a very senior person, and then all of a sudden everybody doesn't want to work with them, but she has been at the forefront. Of course, I'm not supporting an idea where we want people to cling onto a certain position. There should always be room for change. Rotational leadership generates ideas. Rotational leadership opens scope for new developments to be able to
rotational leadership be against seniority.
You see, at seniority level, those are now advisory level. There are certain positions you cannot rather just easily you touch and so on, because you know that the moment that position possibly is compromised, then it's first taking you 10 or 50 steps backwards before now you can be able to speak.
So do you see any uniqueness in these campaigns?
There's a picture that we are seeing, and I've always told my own colleagues in NRM and even my seniors that I work with, I've always told them one thing: never underestimate any opponent. Never underestimate your enemy. When a soldier is at war, a soldier is taught one thing: that what you compromise is what will eliminate you.
Pardon? What you
compromise, however much, however little it is, it can easily be the point that will eliminate you.
So that applies even into political positions?
Even political positions.
You don't have to underestimate your opponent.
Never underestimate your opponent. However much you may think that we have this man by the hook, but I've always seen a scenario where you have people sitting with you in one room and only 3 are in your favor. The rest have smiles all shining towards you, but they don't root for you. We have that scenario. We have a scenario that people say that because of this is the reason as to why I'm attached to them. But if I was given room, then I don't think I would be. What you are saying,
some people assume that, like those who support the government, some assume that they have everything, resources, or whatever it takes. And what you are saying that you don't have to underestimate your opponent, some people assume that is that is easy to be done.
No, that's very bad.
Of the fact that you have the resources, you have the structures and whatsoever.
No, that is very bad. You see, you have witnessed what has happened in different countries within Africa, and you find that, like what happened in Sudan against Bashir. Bashir was one of the most feared leaders we had in Africa, but just because they underestimated what was happening on social media, one young girl below the age of 30 rose up and manipulated, I don't even want to call it manipulated, but changed the ideology of how people were perceiving and looking at government and gave people power. Let me be honest with you. Politics is an art. And it is an art that is through the mind. And then when you're to look at how you can be able to compose yourself and compose your mind from the art of manipulation, you can conquer anything.
So you feel that in this case, NRM should never underestimate any opponent?
Don't underestimate. That's why I like the president for one thing. The president doesn't in any way compromise on anything. He always has security apparatus that is helping him to tackle, even if he has mobilizers per district. He always has his own team around him that he trusts, that is going to give him intelligence briefs, and then he's going to give him information and say, Your Excellency, even as much as we have strong support in Mbarara, that we have possibly 70% population, what we have seen currently occurring in Mbarara during the processions of the new presidential candidate is not good.
So you feel that what happened in Mbarara could have affected NRM in one way or another? It
can affect. Because you see, the type of the voters that were there during 2021, there's also been an addition on those ones that were not part of it. 5 years is big, yes, 5 years. So you find that the number of 18, you are counting 5 times of the new voters that have been added onto our registers. And you find that that is also not cutting within Western Uganda. It is cutting across the country. And some of these young people have a different mindset of how they look at things.
What's your say when Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi starts saying that now security agencies have started oppressing them during campaigns, mostly in the second month of the campaigns?
But we have always, made phone calls to our superiors. There was a time when security had become very tight. Kyagulanyi here at Busoga region. And they had begun using rural settings or rural areas for Kyagulanyi to access his venues and so on.
Was that good?
Some of us who observe and know the repercussion of what was happening were very quick to point out
that it wasn't right.
And say, my friends, whatever you are doing is not a disadvantage, but is an advantage
to the opponent.
To the opponent. So we saw that. But then also, the idea of security really pressing hard on Kyagulanyi. should not be something that should even be of concern, but rather they should.
What do you mean by that?
Should not be something of concern, because you see, we have a very strong security system. This country cannot be compromised at this moment, and most of them, they swear allegiance to serve the country and to protect its interest. We know where we have all come from. We have come from a situation where we have been covered through a lot of insurgency.
Some are perceived to be getting personal.
We have.
Also, when they're dealing with the opposition.
The reason as to why we have security attached to the presidential candidate. One is that among the security, personnel, of course, there's also one that is key at looking at what is happening. Communication is always made, and some of these wrong elements that want to take advantage of the situation of campaign can always be picked. And look, that has always happened. When we had the likes of General Henry Tumukunde at the command during that time of 2016 and so on, we had how they would perceive, because they would use observation to look and do an assessment. I know that if we triggered it this way, it is going to cause a public outcry.
But now the opposition, more so the camp of Mr. Robert Chagulanyi, feels that the arrests being made by security agencies are total persecution to them, to the opposition.
No, you see, one thing that we have to really understand is that there is an emotional outburst amongst our own people. And of course, it also comes with the security exhibiting a highest level of emotional intelligence in dealing with some of these, scenarios. In that, in case of anything, theirs is to trigger. That if we are campaigning and there is nothing happening, yours is to trigger. That there should be a confrontation between security, possibly, and
the
public, or rather the supporters. The public is going to put focus and attention on what is happening.
So
that way, you are dealing with the 16 million that are covered on the international scene. We have a very big number of internet users in Uganda currently, if you have to do your own analysis. 2, there's been access to social media. Anyone now, can go to TikTok and watch some of these things, and that is happening. You should go and read some of the comments that happen. You see, when you interact with people, you get to understand how they reason. When you interact with these people and also observe their activities, you get to understand that they are rather 1 or 2 steps ahead of what security is trying to do. So it is also one thing that, in as much as we're trying to rather, work now that we are getting into the second month of the campaigns, we, as the public, has to be very conscious. Mostly people that are handling the media.
So as we come to the end of the show, of today's show, what will be your appeal to the electorate, to those contesting in this second month of campaigns as we head to the third and last month of the campaigns?
No. You see, each and everyone has their own agenda. They have their own strategies of how to handle their political rallies or other campaigns. But the other thing is that as NRM, we really have to read between the lines and also go back on ground. Every ground that the president has touched, you cannot say that you have a visitor that has come today to your compound, and after the visitor has left, everybody is going to still think about the visitor. Of course, if this visitor has left, another visitor is going to come to the same compound, another visitor will come to the same compound, and the ideology of the common man is not the same as someone that is elite. Leave the people that have knowledge here and they can filter in between. We have those that don't have any type of filtering. They buy into the agenda of what an individual has come with. You can even find that you who has come with 50,000, 100,000 to give to each and every individual, They will not vote you, but they will vote someone who has not come with money. They will say, let's vote for this young man, because this young man, he has come in this, and in this kind of way.
So far, how do you see the use of social media during these campaigns?
Social media is a very powerful tool. It's a very powerful tool, and I can assure you that the NRM is equally using social media to its advantage. They have to cope up. NUP has really, also done more of upgrades, and you can see they have their principal even moving with cam recorders and so on. And some of these are not only for possibly security reasons, but to show the world that, you see, at the end of the day, we are still a young party and we're growing. And we are not looking at short-term goals, but we're looking at the long-term goals. What are the long-term goals of both these political parties? Is it just today, or we're looking at the bigger picture? FDC had the advantage, of FDC had that time to build its base, but it got subdivided into 3 times. Now we are seeing that the FDC that was very mighty and very strong those days is no longer, very strong. We have UPC that says that, you see, we've been a very formidable party back in the days and so on. We don't want to lose any roots. So in as much as there's no support possible, there's limited support in these other areas or regions, in northern Uganda, plus some areas of Teso, we still have a strong base. Yeah. We also have NUP that says that in as much as this is happening, we also have a strong base in Central. So Democratic Front that also came, that has also broken off from NUP. Of course, that is a weak spot, and that is to show you that there's weakness already. There's a conflict. And the break-off alone...
As per these campaigns and elections ahead, has the opposition increased its penetration into, like, the East? Because previously...
that I can tell you that if you are to do your assessment, I now look at NRM is the one that has taken over Teso region, because, you see, initially it used to be FDC. We had the FDC cover-up Soroti, we had the FDC cover-up Serere, we had the FDC in Ngora district during the days of Dr. Appetite, we had the FDC in Kumi just during the days of Patrick Amuriato Boy. I'm also told he's contesting again in Kanyimu County. We had also a presence of FDC in Bukedia district. The current, Right Honorable Speaker was not partly NRM. Yeah. But now you can see the shift of this from FDC now, it has become more of yellow. So the current, there's still some visibility of FDC in the urban centers, that's Soroti City. But of course, you see, that can be 1 or 2, one or 2 spots also. We also have a little bit of NUP presence, because they have a very strong coordinator.
Where is that?
In Teso. They have a very strong coordinator, and he is not someone that can easily be shaken, because I've interacted with him, and it's good.
That is good.
So his honorable is called Okoit. He's a very young man. So he has his own ways of how to do things. So that is to show you. When you have to look at northern Uganda, but look at UPC.
Should we assume that gone are the times whereby having an NRM ticket, mostly in the eastern, would be an assured case for you to go through?
Yes.
Is it still the trend, or it changed?
No, it's not. It's no longer the trend.
You have to fight for your card.
Though the fact, because you see, we had in the previous election, we had candidates that fought dearly for the flag, but they lost to independent candidates. We had the vice president herself lose out on the primaries, but she came as an independent candidate. Today she went unopposed. Nobody even bothered to contest against her, because they know that having a vice president in our district is one of the best.
It's beyond being a privilege.
It's beyond being even a privilege, because the development is felt. The fact that they know where she comes from, that alone is also enough to give people leverage and hope. And for the fact that if you're to go to Katakwi, there's lots of development. They have a minister, the Honorable Peter Ogwang is doing tremendous work. We have the vice president also doing, quite a very, commendable job. So I see that the image,
So it's like
the image of NRM in Teso region has really changed.
So much benefit
And
in this
if
term.
I'm to say, it has increased possibly to, let's say, the coverage should be 87%. If you're to say 87 to 90%.
So this term has positively worked for Teso.
Worked for Teso, and even hopefully this 2026 still will have it in the favor of
I don't know what will
NRM.
happen.
No, of course.
During and after elections.
No, I've always said that one thing. The only thing that NRM has to do is to make sure that they orient young leaders to take on the leadership. People don't have.
See the spirit?
Yeah, people don't have any bad. Don't have any bad name towards NRM, but the fact that they have the old people that have failed to rather mentor young people to take on leadership is really becoming a very big challenge. And that is why you see that majority of them are deciding to go with the other opposition political parties.
Thank you very much, Ndugu Otim Okonopesa, for joining us today in this one-on-one show. We request that you send in your comments about how the show has gone on, and what you possibly wish that we should discuss next time, also as it concerns elections as we head to the general elections. From me, Smith Owen Kaswaburi.